6:41 now at News Talk 96.5 KPEL. As we continue to watch what's going on in Baton Rouge, we are on the heels of a big speech that happened right here in Lafayette on the campus of UL Lafayette earlier this week, just a few days ago. The governor unveiled his Our Louisiana plan, the speech called Our Louisiana, and one of the folks I got to see over covering that story was David Callecod from Lafayette General, and you join us in studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
So this isn't an easy predicament. It doesn't seem like there's an easy fix for what Lafayette General is going through, what various other partner hospitals are going through, UHC here in Lafayette, even the other higher ed. I mean, any of these other groups that rely on state funding, there's not an easy fix, it doesn't seem like.
No, and unfortunately, we're in the home stretch now. Hopefully we'll end this second special session June 4, but I kind of equate what's going on right now to two train locomotives on the same track trying to play chicken with one another, and so the reality is there's nowhere for either one of them to go. And at some point, people have got to slow down, and you got to actually do some compromise. And I was at the Capitol yesterday. We had a rally where we shared the importance of healthcare with the governor and with certainly the media. And unfortunately, I think the emotions there are higher than probably they've ever been. And so I sure hope the Memorial Day weekend will cause everyone to reflect and maybe come back with a different perspective of compromise. But we have to do something, because what the House passed was untenable, what the Senate passed was untenable, and certainly when it was concurred and then vetoed, caused a lot of angst, amongst the legislature. But both of those budgets just don't work, and so. We got to find revenue, and I think the interesting thing is that, as the governor said when he was here with the press conference, when we fixed this problem last time, it took $1.4 billion, and this time it only takes $648 million. And so instead of celebrating that and the good work that's happened to get us to that point, we're still fighting. And so I see both sides of this equation. I understand where the governor's coming from. I understand where the legislature's coming from. But I'm trying to protect the 800 jobs that we have at UHC, University Hospital and Clinics. And the community needs to understand that hospital has an economic impact of about $250 million to Acadiana through the payroll and all the other spending that occurs there. And so it really... that alone is devastating, but what would happen to healthcare across Acadiana, to all hospitals, whether they're a Lafayette General Hospital or not, when those 54,000 people no longer have a place to get care? And I shudder to think what would happen if that occurs. So again, I sure hope cooler heads prevail.
Yeah, and hopefully they will, as we knock on wood.
Yeah.
For those who maybe don't understand, maybe they've not used the services of the University Hospital and clinics, there are, as you referenced, thousands of people who do. When Lafayette General Health came into this equation, if you will, you guys were really able to make a lot of different changes, maybe streamline some things. And, it's not like you can do that without the proper level of funding, correct?
Absolutely correct. And so all the clinics have expanded capacity. We have dramatically reduced wait times, in some cases from 6 months to 1 day.
I mean, imagine if you had to wait 6 months for your hip replacement or something.
Or after a cancer diagnosis.
How frightened would you be?
That was what was going on. And so when you look at that and you look at us implementing best practices, national best practices in those clinics, in the hospital, we now have actually some of the highest patient satisfaction scores in our system are at University Hospital and Clinics of former LSU or Charity Hospital, that, as people used to refer it to. And even as recently as a week ago, we were named at that hospital one of the best places to work in the United States. Only 6 hospitals in the state of Louisiana were named best places to work. Lafayette General had 4 of them.
Just a little bit of a humble brag.
But, well, it's for my people.
Yes, really.
And so when you think about that and where it was to where it is today, and then for us to be in a position where funding was not secure, and we had to issue those warn notices to those employees who love their job and they love taking care of those patients, the most vulnerable patients, and they're committed to it. And so it just breaks my heart that we find ourselves in this situation every single year when we're doing such good work.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I think for people who always say, you know, I want to make sure that we're using our dollars in the best way possible, you've put this out on the table. You've done this. I mean, you've been able to do it. And as you said, through your people is the way that it's been able to happen. But it is kind of a game of chicken right now. For people who are listening, what would you suggest that they do in getting in touch with their legislator to express how they might feel about this situation?
Well, we've tried to, really develop a means for people to do that very easily, and they can do that by going to saveuhc.com. And when you go there, you can actually, by zip code, you can reach out to your legislators. A lot of people don't even know who those folks are. And we just need to express to them what is important and what they individually feel is important, and share those stories. I mean, we have now sent almost 7,000 different emails and letters to legislators, and that's what they need to hear, those things. And so, we've got to get to the point where compromise occurs on both sides.
Right. Right.
And so, unfortunately, we're in a very difficult situation in Lafayette because you have certainly strong will on the part of the administration and strong will on the part of the legislature, and we're stuck in the middle. And the only thing we can do is try to give everyone an avenue to inform their representatives.
How important is leadership? Last week we had Katie Hebert on. She actually did Bernie's Saturday show where Bernie spent an hour picking her brains about everything. And I'll tell you, the thing that kind of came across to me, even in talking to her in the lobby, is that care isn't stopping while this whole thing is in limbo. There is a date. Everyone knows when that June 30th is going to come up, but things are still being done. Patients are still being seen. I believe they even have like a new portion of the ER that's opening or has just opened or something. I mean, so they continue to be trucking along. How important is leadership for that team in your overall kind of vision for Lafayette General Health?
Well, number one, Katie Hebert is a jewel, and she has done a great job leading that team. And unfortunately, we obviously issued warn notices. We tried to keep everyone informed throughout this process, and so we've had, not 100%, but most people have stayed with us, and most people are continuing to be committed to their job. And we believe that at the end of the day, the right thing is going to occur. But you're absolutely right. Care continues. Our plans for the future continue. We continue to educate our new physicians and look at new programs. We're still trying to expand Medicaid through our urgent care centers because, when the state expanded Medicaid, there are very few private physicians that take Medicaid.
Yeah,
and so our LSU clinics at University Hospital and Clinics are the access point for Medicaid patients. And so it's critical for us to continue to expand. And we've had cuts to our budget the last 2 years. So we've continued to expand services.
And you are making
with a lower
cuts.
Budget.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so
you're doing what taxpayers have asked.
Absolutely. And I believe, and I said this yesterday, we have delivered. Lafayette General has delivered on the promise we made to the state, and all we ask is that for that to be recognized and for us to be able to continue that great work.
It's vital. It's vital to so many tens of thousands of people in our area.
David Callecod, Lafayette General Health. Thanks for coming by as always.
Thanks so much.
We'll be in touch. Obviously, big next 12 days. What are we now? 11 days? Or is it 12?
So
12 from here.
Tuesday, Wednesday, today's number 3, so I guess we're 9, 10.
All right. We'll see what happens. All right, 7:50 now at News Talk 96.5 Cape Health.